Okay, so hello. Me and my friends are making a school project called StayStrong, which is about healthy food, healthy lifestyle, sports, and all of this. Uh, and as you are a second year student in Institute Paul Bocuse in culinary art, you're a specialist in food. So that's why today I wanted to ask you some questions about it.
Perfect.
So at the beginning, tell me, where does this passion for cooking come from? How it all started and all of this.
So that's a long story. I'll be very short and sweet in it. My passion for cooking started since I was very young, at a young age, because I was surrounded by chefs and people from the hospitality industry. So, and my grandfather was also a master baker in Sri Lanka. So I was in and out of kitchens. I used to basically I grew up in kitchens and bakeries. So that's how my liking for food, pastry developed since I was young.
What brings you happiness in cooking? Like, what make you happy with this?
Well, happiness, it's a very broad perspective, but I can say that like looking at people's faces, like when you serve clients and their happiness on their face, it makes me happy. That's the biggest happiness you can see.
As you said also, and as I know, you are a specialist in pastry and you really like it. So can you say something more about it, how it works and what is it about?
So as I said before, since it started from a very young age, I was in and out of pastry kitchens, bakeries. So that's how I developed my liking for pastry. I'm still not a specialist, but I'm really good at pastry, I would say that.
What is your opinion on healthy food? Like, what healthy food means for you? What do you think?
I would say it's very important, and it's becoming a trend nowadays because people are falling sick rather like not like 25 years ago for the foods they are consuming, and it's becoming a very emerging. Okay, for example, if you say a healthy diet is something that contains all the essential nutrients which are needed in the body. For example, proteins, vitamins, fibers, and energy. And now people are very conscious about what they eat. So they look into healthy diets more and try to get rid of the fast food, junk food. They're putting that away. It's changing now.
So as you said, people care more about what they eat. So we can see a lot of bio product at the shops. And do you think they are better than the normal ones?
Really, I don't really purchase bio products, but I think okay, from like things I learned and like it's basic common sense, I would say that bio products lead to less pesticides and it's better for the environment. So in short, it's better for the environment. I'm not a big fan of bioproducts, but it helps. It saves the planet.
Okay, great. And about diets, as you said also, what do you think about cutting down on meat or just reducing meat in your diet? Because that's like a trend like right now, I would say. A lot of people do this, but what do you think about it?
I would say me myself, I really love meat. I wouldn't know how my life would go without meat. And on the other hand, I would say cutting down meat is also good in concerns for your health because eating too much, for example, eating too much red meat can cause it's very bad for your health because it's highly fatty and like now people are moving into well, there was a trend a few years ago where a lot of processed food was consumed, like sausages, processed canned. Those kind of foods are very at high risk, especially the meats, because they can lead to diabetes, cancer, whatever. But I would say, in part, in your to have a balanced diet, I would say that you have to have meat. Meat is
Yes.
essential. Meat is life.
Yeah, like I also couldn't live without meat. So yeah. And about diets and all of this, what is your opinion on diets excluding sugar, fats, etc.? Like,
Excluding sugar, I agree with that, but not fats. And like I said before, excluding sugar is also becoming a trend as now because people are being diagnosed a lot with diabetes. But back then, at a certain age, you got diabetes. Like for example, after you're 40. But now the things that the world has changed. For example, some kids are born with diabetes, and they develop it at a very young age. So consuming sugar, you have to be very careful in terms of that, because talking from my personal experience, my family has a bad history for diabetes. So keeping that in my mind, I'm very careful. I don't consume a lot of sugar, because just being on the safe side.
And also, most of us, when we are coming back home late from studies as you do, or from school, work, whatever, like usually when we are coming, we don't have time to make any food. So we are making something just to eat it quick.
Something unhealthy, very unhealthy.
Yeah, it's very unhealthy. And do you have some ideas or suggestions what to do just to make it healthier, and what to do in those type of situations?
So basically, to start off, you can have like the basic stuff. Anyone has bread in their house. So instead of normal white regular bread, they could have whole meat bread, rye bread, and those kinds of breads are like it has less sugar in it, and it's very healthy. For example, whole meat bread has all the nutrients. It's very fibrous. Sandwich like that, put some cream cheese, some a slice of ham, and you're good to go. Or else you can have pre-made salads in your fridge, which I never do. You can have some salad, tomato, some cheese. It's a quick snack. But since we're all in a rush, we tend to eat fatty food, which is the case for everyone, I guess. It's the case for me. After I come home from work at about 10, I guess, I'm really tired. I don't put much effort into cooking, even though I study cooking. So I just put some cheese into a taco, melt it up, and that's my quick snack. It's not that healthy, but it fills you up, and yeah.
So about this, in France, most of the people it's small breakfast and enjoy their dinner and lunch for a longer time. So do you think this type of lifestyle is better for everyone? Because, for example, in Poland, most of the people are telling that you have to eat like big breakfast because it's really important for you, but they're doing it in a different way. So what do you think about it?
They say there's a saying, your breakfast you should dine as a king. Like to start your day you should eat and you should be strong. That's the same myth for Sri Lankans as well. They say you have to have breakfast. In France, okay, personally I would say I eat 3 meals a day. Like I cannot start my day without breakfast because I got so used to it. I have to eat something in the morning. But I would say not having heavy meals but consuming something small is good for your concentration, because there are certain people who cannot eat anything in the morning. For example, Philip.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, Philip, Mehmet. I know today Mehmet was here and I woke up and I made a big breakfast for me. Like he never eats, but I think it depends from person to person also, and how their lifestyle has been and how they've been brought up. But I would say 2 meals is more than enough for a day.
Yes. So as you said about Sri Lanka, so do you often use some special spices or methods of cooking from there?
Of course, every single day. So I use spices like curry powders, turmeric, because back home when I was back home, I never appreciated like my type of cuisine. I hated it. I always like Western cuisine. But when I came to France, I really started appreciating it more, because I started to actually miss it. And every single time I used to make something, I used to call my mom and ask, how do you do this? And she starts laughing. And now you want to learn. So yes, I cook on almost when I'm not eating from school, I make my Sri Lankan food almost every day.
Do you think that the look of the food,
the appearance of it?
Yes, the appearance of it, is the food appearance important?
I think okay, it's a very broad very broad topic. For example, appearance is very important. Like before you consume your food, you consume it with your eyes. Because if it doesn't look eye appealing and if it looks bad, like you get negative thoughts going in your mind, even though it might be the best steak. If it doesn't look good, it puts you down. Negatively, there are studies proven it puts your thoughts down, the appearance. So that's why people, especially in Michelin star restaurants, they put so much work to make the plates look nice, because that's the first impression of the meal.
Wait a second. You think we should eat less but more time in a day, or bigger size portions, like less?
This is a project. I will talk about a small project we did a few weeks ago about portion size in restaurants. Again, it depends from person to person also, but in talking about science and how like food science works, I think eating smaller portions from time to time helps you with your digestion. Like you're not uncomfortable at times. Like for example, you have a heavy lunch at 12:30 and you have work at 1, you will fall asleep at work. So rather than that, you would consume something small at 12:30, like one sandwich, and then at about 3 you eat something else. I think consuming in smaller parts right throughout the day, it's better for you and better for digestion.
So I would say that thank you so much for helping us in this project. I really appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Good luck with your project.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.